December 25th, 1989, Nicolae Ceausescu and his wife Elena were executed after a brief trial by the revolutionary forces. Now, 120 bullets were found in their bodies, so something had clearly gone very wrong for the Ceausescus, who had ruled Romania for over 22 years. Now, only 4 days earlier, Ceausescu was delivering his yearly speech from the balcony of his palace. Only this time, his people were not applauding as they usually did, but they were throwing stones and rubbish at him and yelling at him to go away. Now, Ceausescu could not believe his eyes. He really did not understand why his people were so mad at him. So he fled the palace with a helicopter, but, well, that didn't help. We can actually learn two things from this. The first is that it is clearly very dangerous not to understand people. I will get back to that later. But the second thing is that we can also learn a very powerful lesson from these events on how to influence people. Strange as it may seem, the story of Ceausescu will show you how to get people behind your ideas, how to have them follow your agenda, or simply how to have them buy your products. Now, first we go to Australia. In Australia, they surf a lot. And when you're in the sea for a long time, well, your feet get cold. So already for ages, surfers in Australia wear sheepskin boots to warm their feet when back on the land. And I think you all know these boots. They are Uggs. So from a very niche product, boots for surfers with cold feet, Uggs became a worldwide fashion hit. Now, how did that happen? Well, the company that makes Uggs came up with a very clever trick, which was to give these boots to other people than surfers, to famous people, models and actresses like Kate Hudson and Sarah Jessica Parker, Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Lopez. And they started wearing these boots. Probably not because they thought these boots were very elegant or beautiful. I mean, look at them. They're not, I think. Maybe they started wearing them because they wanted to say to the world, hey, look at me, I'm so beautiful, I can look good in anything. Anyhow, what happens when we see famous people, people we admire, wear something? Well, of course, what happens is that then we want it too. Due to this celebrity endorsement, as it is called in marketing, more people started wearing Uggs. Uggs became a trend. And from a trend, it became fashion. And from fashion, Uggs became a household item. And the company now sells for more than $1 billion worth of Uggs every year. Now, let's think about it. Isn't that strange? What makes us want these things, desperately need these things, simply because other people wear them? What goes on in our heads when something like that happens? Well, you've probably heard of mirror neurons. Brain scans have shown that whenever we see someone else perform an action, like grabbing an object, our brains show a pattern of activity that is almost the same as when we would perform that action ourselves. So our brains literally mirror the actions of others. And that makes us inclined to also imitate the actions of others. A well-known example is what we call contagious behavior. Whenever we see someone else yawn, we feel the strong urge, almost unsuppressible, to yawn too. Yeah, there you have it. So this is clearly a very dangerous picture to show in any talk. So let's get rid of it. But this may be equally dangerous to look at. Whenever you see someone else opening a can of Coke, drinking from it, clearly enjoying it, your brain is mirroring that action. And it's also mirroring the feelings that go along with it. So seeing people drink makes you want to drink. Seeing people eat makes you feel hungry. Or seeing people smoke makes you crave for a cigarette. And that is why that works so well in advertising. Simply showing a product being handled by people is a very simple but also very effective way to sell that product. Now, this doesn't stop at silly things like yawning or selling cans of Coke. People buy stocks, so spend millions for the very same reason. During the internet bubble, people bought stocks that were actually not worth a penny simply because other people bought them too. So that means that your mirror neuron system can also make you do very irrational things, costing you fortunes. Now that is the reason behind the success of ARGs. Simply showing that people wear them makes more people want to wear them too. And now there's no 14-year-old girl who dares to go to school without wearing genuine ARGs because, all their friends wear them too. The power of this phenomenon, the phenomenon that psychologists like Robert Cialdini, for example, have called social proof, defies all logic, all thought, and all rationality. Now that is the mistake that Ceausescu made, that I wanted to talk about. Ceausescu wanted to appeal to people's rational thoughts. Actually, he wanted to show his people the decadence of Western society. So he came up with what he thought was a clever idea, which was to air the TV show Dallas on Romanian TV. He wanted to show his people all the bad things coming out of wealth and greed and luxury. Well, sounds like a reasonable idea, but it turned out to be a fatal mistake because he forgot about social proof. By watching Dallas, all these Romanian brains were now suddenly exposed to other people living in luxurious homes, driving in expensive cars, filling their tables with rich foods and drinks, not to forget. So there was only one reaction to be expected from these Romanian brains, and that is, of course, that then they now wanted it too. So there, Ceausescu, unwillingly, of course, planted one of the many seeds for the Romanian revolutions all by himself. Now, this is a mistake that is still very often made. In advertising campaigns against antisocial behavior, for example, we quite consistently see images being used about how people should not behave. But of course, in doing so, we are only given more social proof that this is apparently what people do. So such campaigns are only going to promote antisocial behavior and not stop it, because it strengthens negative social proof. Now what will help, of course, is provide positive social proof. If you show people that do clean their streets, then we provide a positive social signal. When we see that, their friends and neighbors will start to help out. More people in the street will follow because their mirror neuron systems will force them to do so. And then more streets will follow. In Rotterdam, they had a program which was called Opzomer, where exactly this happened. People started cleaning their streets, and all by itself, automatically, more and more streets got involved. So that is the power of social proof. The power of using mirror neurons to your advantage. If you apply that correctly, you can achieve anything you like. You may be able to sell strange-looking boots to millions of people. But if you forget about it, well, you may die, as Ceausescu did. Now, the funny thing is, this means that the most powerful tool to influence other people is right at your disposal every day. Because that tool, of course, is you. But it's not about what you say, it is about what you do. Thank you.